Welcome to the recession. We are now in panic mode, and I'm pretty sure we're at the very start of a recession. People have been talking about this for like 4 years. We're due for a recession. We're due for a recession. And, well, I think it's here. And strangely enough, it was started by some weird-ass virus out of China. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to deal with the recession, because I know there's a lot of people who are on this channel who have never seen a recession while being an entrepreneur. Some of you might be a little too young to even know about the 2008 recession, the Great Recession. Well, I don't think we're going to go into a Great Recession, but I do believe we're going to see a significant downturn in spending, which is going to make sales harder, and it's going to make it very difficult for you to keep the clients that you have. So what I'm going to share today is why I think we're about to be in a recession, what's going to happen, and then how you can not only survive it, but thrive. So let's check it. Even though it's not showing up in everyday life yet, the stock market has collapsed. It has dropped far greater than it has since the Great Recession, since 2008. It's dropped dramatically, and that's not indicative of a recession. It's a part of it. It's an indicator saying, hey, something's going on here, something's wrong. But here's what's really happening. The coronavirus is causing panic. And the Chinese government decided to quell the spread of the coronavirus in hopes of preventing a lot of people from dying by shutting factories all across China. So China is not producing the goods that Westerners have paid for. Western companies have already paid for a whole bunch of products to be made and then have those shipped over to their countries, and those companies aren't going to be able to sell them. They've already got a whole bunch of money sunk into that, so they're out all this money. Some of them have probably even done this with debt and aren't going to be able to make those debt payments because they don't have products to sell to be able to pay back the debt they took out to make the products. And this is going to have ripple effects. And the longer it takes for the Chinese government to kick those factories back off again, until that happens, if it goes longer and longer, we will be forced into a recession. The entire world is going to be forced into a recession because of a flu. This is going to be crazy. The coronavirus has not even kicked off in the United States. There's a few cases. Just recently I saw on the news that one person in America has died from the coronavirus, and this is going to cause widespread panic inside the United States, and that is going to then put us right into a recession. Will I be wrong? I hope so. At the time of this recording, for anyone in the future, I hope I was wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not. As this recession gets going, and this is information for those who have never faced a recession before as an entrepreneur. I've gone through a couple of them in my career, so I'm not the wisest on this, but here's some things that are going to happen. You've got an agency, and your clients are going to start bailing. They're going to start cutting their budgets, and you are going to be one of their first cuts. I've warned about this before on a whole bunch of other videos about not relying solely on recurring revenue models. If all you have is a recurring revenue model, you're in trouble. Your business is going to suffer because you're going to start losing 20, maybe 30% of your clients this year. And I don't want that for you. So what you need to start doing is going through all your clients, making sure they're super happy. If you have not had like a strategy session with your clients in a while, you need to meet with them. You need to get some FaceTime with them and make sure they understand you are going to be continuing to produce results for them as this recession gets going, because what's going to happen is they're going to start seeing the news, and the news is going to tell them, hey, we're in a recession, and they're going to start to freak out, and then they're going to start holding back on their budget because they're unsure of the future, and then other people are going to start holding back. They're not going to be spending as much money. Consumers are going to hold back on what they're spending because they're freaking out about the coronavirus. So that's going to then have additional ripple effects. And what started off as just fear becomes reality. So if you are on a recurring revenue model with your agency, you need to get in touch with every single one of your clients and have FaceTime. Figure out what they need and get a project started. You need to get them to come in and pay you for a project. Keep paying their monthly fee, keep doing that, but you need to do some project income. Go watch my video on spikes of happiness. I'll have a link below for you, so check that out. That one talks about how to add additional revenue into your business by doing projects. And when you do those projects and complete them well, your clients are going to be super happy with you, and you're going to need this to get through the recession. You should expect the recession to last for about 2 years. So in that 2-year period, you're hopefully not going to go out of business, but in that 2-year period, you're going to see a decline in sales, or at least sales are going to get harder. So you're going to have to step up your marketing game, and we'll talk about that in just a second. What I want you to do is I want you to reduce your expenses. I know we're talking about getting into that panic mode, right? I don't want you to panic. I just want you to start now before the rest of the world starts to panic. And that'll give you a few months of savings to be able to weather the next maybe 3 to 6 months where you're going to be stepping up your marketing. And this may mean you need to cut some staff. For those people who are outsourcing and think, oh, I don't have to worry about that, let me talk about that in a second. When we're trying to cut these expenses, we don't want to cut like a ton. We definitely don't want to cut our marketing budget, because we're going to be putting a lot of effort into that to be able to drive more leads, because our closing ratio is probably going to go down. So we want to be able to make sure that stays solid. So we want to cut things like our lifestyle. Don't spend a bunch of money. If you're thinking about going out and buying a luxury car, maybe you should just get a nice, used, inexpensive car that can get you from point A to point B for the next 2 years. Don't go spending more money on your lifestyle at this point. If I'm wrong about the recession, great, you got savings and you'll be able to invest that more into your business. If I'm correct, you're going to need it to weather the storm. All right, now about people who are outsourcing. So you've got this white labeled agency and you've got a recurring revenue model. Let's say you're billing your clients $2,000 a month and you're paying this white label agency $1,000 a month. And you've got 100 clients. And then 50% of them drop off this year. And that is highly likely. 50% drop off and you're like, oh, no big deal. Sure, it's going to hurt my personal spending, but I don't have to worry about firing anybody. I can easily cut back my company's expenses because I don't have any fixed expenses. I have this all outsourced. Well, guess what? That white label agency has other agencies just like you. And when one of their other clients loses a whole bunch of customers, and then another one loses a bunch, and another one loses a bunch, and that white label agency actually has fixed expenses, and they have to start laying off people, guess what happens to their ability to deliver on your clients? They're in chaos. Their employees start to panic and start freaking out and start looking for another job. And those employees of the white label agency start doing a terrible job on the rest of your clients. And when that happens, then your business collapses even further. So you have to go back into your product. You have to go back into your service and make sure that you can provide a great service even if your white label agency starts collapsing. You might want to start looking at several other white label agencies. You want to find some other outsourcers that you can go to in case this happens. But odds are it's going to happen to them too. So you may have to shift around and maybe even use 2 or 3 white label agencies instead of the one you've been used to, just to be able to properly serve your remaining clients. Now let's get away from some of the fear. Let's get into the thriving part. Let's do like some of the greatest businesses that grew during recessions or even became dominant during depressions. They were able to take advantage of the fact that everyone else was panicking. But since we're preparing, it's right at the beginning of this recession and we're preparing for it, we're going to be able to start taking advantage of opportunities that other people are freaking out about. That's what's powerful. So here's the 3 things I want you to do. Start building your audience. If you're going to do it on YouTube or LinkedIn or in blog form, a podcast, I don't care how you're building an audience, you need to start attracting a lot of people. They're probably not going to be clients of yours specifically. They may buy knowledge products from you, training from you. They might buy affiliate products from your links, the things that you mention. You will find other ways to be able to generate revenue from this audience and not rely solely on providing high-ticket services. And here's the thing, your services might come down in price. If you do this right and build a strong audience, you're likely to be able to maintain high fees during this recession because you will be seen as the authority that can get them through the recession too. The second thing is go hard at your marketing. You've got to do something risky. You've got to really stand out because people are going to be freaking out. They don't want to pay attention to you. They're paying attention to the doom and gloom news, the news that's telling them the world's coming to an end, and you have to come into that and say, don't worry about that. I have a plan. I've got a path, and I have a thing for you. Just opt in, come into my funnel, and I will show you how to survive and thrive during this recession. You're going to have to step out there and hammer home a message that you can see the future and you're taking them to a better place and getting them out of this chaos. This is one of the most powerful things you can do in a recession. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you, I've got a vision for the future. And not only are we going to get through the crap that's about to happen, we're going to be one of the people who thrives during all this chaos. Because, well, I've seen it before and I know the steps to get through it. And this is something that you're going to do with your clients. You're going to tell them, if we keep doing this, if we keep investing in an audience and we double down on our marketing, maybe even get a little risky and a little crazy with our marketing so that we can stand out above the noise of all the doom and gloom panic that's happening. If we can do that, then the third thing that you're going to do is increase your sales. You're going to really dive into the numbers of your sales. If you don't know your numbers right now, if you don't know your conversion rate from the time someone becomes a lead to the time they give you money, if you don't know those details, you need to dive in now. You need to figure out what percentage of people that you attract become clients, because times have been good. And if you've got, say, a 50% closing rate, well, it's probably going to drop down to 30, maybe even 25% closing rate, which means if that happens, you're going to have to essentially double your leads. You're going to have far more leads coming in to be able to make the same number of sales. All 3 of these things are integrated: an audience, your marketing message, and your sales system. You need to have a mantra when you get up in the morning. What am I doing to build my audience? What am I doing to get my message to that audience? And what am I doing to convince them that I have a solution to the problem they're facing right now? All right, this was heavy information. I know. I'm not into the scare people kind of thing. I'm not about that. I'm about opportunity. I know we're facing this. It's reality. It's coming. If it's not here now, it's going to be here very soon. And if I'm wrong, awesome. I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm not wrong, you're preparing today and you got a war chest. So even if things stay great for the next year or two, you'll have resources that you've saved up over these next few months to be able to invest deeper into your business. If I am right, you will have resources that you have saved up so that you can invest into your business and not only survive the recession, but thrive. So if you want to thrive, please like, subscribe, share, and do all the socials. And we're going to make sure over the next few videos that I give you a path to be able to thrive in any economy. And I'll see you in the next video. And we're done. Don't worry about these, and definitely don't put them in as bloopers, all right?